cold as a razor blade, as tight as a tourniquet, like the skin on a dying man. I don't want a piece of the world. I want the whole world. I make my own rules because it's much easier that way. Trust me.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we're back in the Snake Pit. And, of course, we're joined by the master of the DDT himself, the Hall of Famer, Mr. Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Just everything's coming together for me. My tours are coming together. I can't wait to tell you about them. Well, now would be a good time.
Let's talk about them.
April 30th, I'm going to be in Pittsburgh at the Hard Rock. May 5th, I'm going to be at Kowloon, Saugus, Massachusetts. May 6th, I'm doing the Zombie Hideout. That's a signing in Springfield, Mass. And May 7th, I'm doing the Funny Bone in Hartford. Then May 13th, I'm doing Bonkers in Orlando.
Holy smokes, what a tour. And it's the last call tour, of course, where it's some live comedy. You're telling stories, you're doing Q&As with fans. It's, man, if you want some personal interaction with Jake, you cannot do any better than going to one of his live shows.
Yeah, I love doing it, man. And it never fails. I'll remember another story, while doing it. And just having Kevin Sullivan on our show has brought up some memories of the things that we did together. And it was pretty raunchy stuff, though. So bring a barf bag.
Man, it's stuff that you will not hear on the podcast. You can only hear it when you go and see Jake live. So go out of your way to check it out. That's the last call tour. You're going to see it all over Jake's social media with links for tickets and everything coming up. So for real, it's if you haven't seen Jake live, you don't know what you're missing. Go out there and check it out. And Jake, I wanted to mention too, last week we didn't have you. We had Raven come on instead. Yeah. Our pal came and filled in, did a hell of a job talking about his rivalry with DDP 25 years ago around this time in 1998.
Wow. And not finished.
It's still not finished. They've still got some low key heat.
Yeah.
But man, it was a fun episode, and couldn't be more thrilled to have him on there. So shout out to Raven. Thank you for coming on. You can follow him at The Raven Effect on Twitter. And Jake, I also wanted to mention before we get going here, you really hooked me up with an interesting opportunity. The news is out. Ted DiBiase is starting a podcast with our network. Jake made the connection between the two of us, and Ted's going to be part of the family. Man, I know he's going to have some fantastic stories to tell.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited to bring him on board. And what I'm really excited about right now is to do Ask Jake Anything. This is going to be...
I love this part of the show that we do, man. Ask me anything, and it never gets raunchy enough, though.
We'll save that for the live show. But, man, let me say, you put out a tweet, and the fans really, really delivered tons of questions and a lot of really, really good ones. So if you're ready, we can jump right in, dude. All right, let's get it. All right, Jake, first question is from Steve Cohen. And Steve asks, you have been portrayed several times on the Rock show Young Rock. Have you seen it? Jake, I've got an image here for you.
Not bad, huh?
No, not bad at all. Here's another one. If you're not watching on YouTube, go check it out. I've got some still images of this guy who's portraying Jake. I don't know the dude's name, but I believe he's an Australian actor. Looks pretty good, huh, Jake?
His name is Ben. I've met him, and I think we're going to partner up and do a little something.
That's awesome. All right. And I assume that you've seen the episodes that he's been on with the show, right?
Absolutely not.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I've not seen any of it.
Oh, man. Well, you guys can go out of your way to check it out if you haven't seen it. It's on Peacock, I believe. And, obviously the show is still running, so you can catch it there. But, man, really, really cool. I know that I was blown away on the first episode when I saw the guy.
Yeah, he looks pretty sharp.
He looks good. And let me tell you, it might be fun maybe if we can get in touch with him. Maybe we could get him on for one of our bonus episodes on ad-free shows.
Oh, we could do that.
I think that would be fun to pick his brain and talk about what it took for him to get inside the mind of Jake the Snake. The follow-up question from Steve. He says, is it accurate that you worked in Hawaii for The Rock's grandparents prior to your WWF run?
Absolutely not. No, I
Never did.
never worked in Hawaii for him, although I did wrestle in Hawaii for Vince.
Okay, so it's I would think that the reason that you're on Young Rock is because of you would come if I remember right when you guys would be coming back from Japan for Vince, you would swing by Hawaii and do a few shows there.
Well, it usually wasn't coming back from Japan. He would just send us on a weekend trip.
Oh, okay.
We'd do LA and then get on an airplane and fly.
Now, when you're doing that kind of thing, Jake, is it like, oh, awesome, I get to go to Hawaii, or is it more like, shit, I have to go to
Oh,
Hawaii?
shit, I have to go to Hawaii. Because, man, you have no time. You get off the airplane, you get a rental car, you go to the hotel, you sleep for 3 or 4 hours, you get up, you do a show, you go back to the airport, get on a plane, and fly back.
So no time to go out and
No,
enjoy the sights or have fun on the beach or anything like that.
no, not at all. I remember one time we flew back from Hawaii to Miami,
Oh,
and we had to wrestle as soon as we got off the plane.
oh my God. Oh my
God, we
God.
felt like shit, man.
How long do you remember how long that flight was?
Oh, it was like 15 hours, 14 hours.
Brutal. Brutal. Well, last question pertaining to this. There's obviously a little interaction between your character and a young Dwayne Johnson. Did you spend any time around him when he was a kid?
I did, in the Florida territory. I was just getting started, really, and I hooked up with his father, and I rode with his father a lot. And I'd come over to his house, and we'd hop in the van, and we'd take off. Rock at the time was about 7 years old.
Wow, really cool. Who could have possibly guessed that he would not only, go on to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but now, a huge, huge movie star, well on his way to possibly
Oh
becoming
yeah,
an actual billionaire as an actor.
yeah, it's unbelievable.
Incredible, man. Next up, we got friend of the show, Yambag Jones, and he says, "Who's the first person that you noticed steal the DDT, and what did you have to say to them?"
Well, the first person to steal it was Adrian Adonis.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. When I went to the WWF, that was one of the things that had to be sorted out. That Adrian had to change his finishing maneuver, and I would take him. And he went to this Good Night Irene, the sleeper.
Okay, so
Yeah, he wasn't real happy about it too.
he had seen you doing it in like Mid South and elsewhere and
Right,
took it. Oh,
right.
okay. Well, I mean, come on, he's not happy about it, but Jesus, you made the move.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, that does make me want to ask too. Guys like Arn Anderson and Michael P.S. Hayes started doing
Yeah.
the DDT. When you'd see that happening or hear about it happening, any heat, or you're like, hey, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead and do it, man. But my thing at first was at least make them sell it, you know. But after I thought about it, I'm like, no, don't make them sell it because all that does is tell the people out there that, gee, when Jake did it, you didn't get up. Jake must be a bad son of a bitch.
That's it too. I know that Arn was using it for his finish at times, along with the spine buster.
Yeah,
So hey, that's cool. And Arn goes out of his way anytime somebody asks him about it. He says, "Nope, stole it directly from Jake. 100% stole it." So
yeah,
at least he's copping to it.
yeah. He's
Dave,
honest, man.
he is. Dave Tramp is up next. Terrible last name. May have
For
been
a
a
girl.
may have been a question before, but has anyone blown Jake away with his first time in the ring with him? Like, has anyone made him say,
Anyone
"Holy
ever blown me? Yeah, there's been people.
Jake, let's talk about your first blowjob."
Yeah. Um, Shawn Michaels.
So
Yeah,
Mid South.
he was so bad that I didn't see him ever doing anything.
Really?
He was horrible. You guys probably have the film on it. I got him in the ring. I grabbed his arm. I wrenched it a couple of times, and I give him the Iggy, which is you squeeze the wrist, and that's telling him to reverse it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all he did was go, oh, he sold it. So I do it again. He sells it again. I'm jerking him around the ring. I'm like, reverse it, reverse it. And he, oh. Then I'm like, reverse. He's like, oh. Sound. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So I clotheslined him and DDT'd him.
That footage of that match is out there. It was Mid-South. I want to say it was like 84, something like that.
Yeah.
And we will have to share that on social because it's hilarious hearing that.
It was horrible, bro.
Shawn Michaels. Wow. Okay. It's, everybody associates him with being it as far as the guy in the ring, but you caught him a little early and he just was not ready.
A guy that I seen were going for him was Rick Steiner. I had him very early in his career, and I just knew that I didn't want to fuck with him. He was solid as a rock, and he knew what the hell he was doing.
Yep. He had that amateur reputation, and from what I've heard, it was like, do not piss off either of the Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we've got one from our friend of the show, Devin at Ringspan, and he asks, what does Jake recall about his match at WrestleMania 2 with George Wells, and what are his overall thoughts on the former CFL player turned wrestler?
George was a good guy, man. He just he didn't envision himself being the main event for sure.
No?
He just went out and just did his thing, him foaming at the mouth was a surprise.
That was the next question. He wanted to know, did you know that he was going to do that? I guess
no,
not.
No, I didn't. But I liked it.
Pretty cool moment. It looked like he put like an Alka-Seltzer tab in his mouth or something because it was like it was wild, man.
No, it was a semen tab.
George, come on, man. Oh man. Well, we'll have to find the footage. Not of the semen tab though. We'll just find the footage of the foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
Simon Smith is up next. Jake, what is your go-to song in life?
Oh, Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb.
Comfortably Numb. So if you had like a soundtrack to your life, it would be that.
Yeah, it would start with that.
That is a badass song.
Yeah, it is.
Nick Davis up next. He says, does Jake watch MMA?
No, I don't. I've never got into that phony shit. If I was going to watch it, I'd watch the women.
Really?
Yeah, there's some kick-ass women out there, man.
There are some badass women involved in it, man. Ronda Rousey, when she was at her peak, she was must-watch TV.
Oh, my God. Yeah, absolutely.
Just incredible. So, I mean, when it comes to the men's stuff, though, is it like, what's your opinion on it? Too violent?
It's not too violent. It's just doesn't have enough to it. A couple of good shots and you're done. I mean, it's not like a 20-minute match. They go by rounds and stuff. And I don't know. I just don't like it. It's not entertaining enough for me.
Well, and it's interesting seeing how much they've borrowed from professional wrestling now too, where you can very clearly see that it's like, look, these guys probably don't necessarily hate each other, but they're going out of their way to make these press conferences pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're trying to make promos now. Wow.
So I wonder where they got that idea.
Stop it.
Jake, speaking of MMA and all that stuff, the sale of WWE to Endeavor, the company that I believe owns UFC as well. Do you have any thoughts on that whole thing?
Absolutely not. The only thought I would have is why not sooner?
That's it too. It was certainly time. Vince is not getting any younger, and holy smokes, he took a $1 million investment and turned it into something like a $9 billion investment.
Not too bad, huh?
He did okay. He came out all right.
Yeah.
Matthew is up next. He says, what are your favorite WrestleMania matches? And this is kind of a two-parter, one that you were involved in and one that you watched.
One that I watched, the Steamboat Savage.
Okay.
The one I was involved in, DiBiase and myself, Andre and myself, uh, Martel and myself, of course.
Man, some awesome ones.
Yeah, I
You know,
had
you
enough to get some pretty good talent to get in the ring with.
certainly, you and DiBiase, I know that a lot of fans say that that's, one of the best WrestleMania matches ever. And I think that
Yeah,
DiBiase claims that it's his favorite as well. So just,
yeah.
man, incredible stuff. And man, pretty cool to see Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage get their flowers for the incredible work that they did at WrestleMania 3. Two guys that you'd
Absolutely, man.
spent a lot of time working with.
Yeah, they went after it, brother, and they got it.
Well, Jake, we're trying to get everybody to go after America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Of
Oh,
course,
hell yeah.
we are talking about Factor. Jake, I know you got your shipment. I got
Yes, sir.
mine. What did you
Yes, sir.
think?
I love it. I love it.
Dude,
My
fantastic.
daughter loves it too because she cooks it for me.
And like the best part, there's no cleanup, Jake.
No.
You pop it in the microwave, 2 minutes,
Bang,
bam.
bang, man. Bang, bang, it's done.
Fresh, delicious food, easy, no cleanup, no prep, no going to the grocery store. Factor has
Nope.
got you covered. Guys, get nutritious, chef-prepared meals delivered right to your door, leaving you time and energy to tackle everything on your to-do list. Look,
Yep.
Summer is coming fast. You don't want to be stuck inside doing dishes or going to the grocery store, waiting in line. How about instead of doing all that, you let Factor take care of it for you? With their calorie smart meals, they're around 550 calories or less from Factor. The biggest problem for me when it came to eating healthy, Jake, it was always about preparation, all the stuff you have to do. You've got to plan and shop, cook, clean. Dude, miserable. And now that I've got a young daughter, it's just another thing I have to do and worry about. Well,
Like her doing it.
she's 2.5, so I don't know how good she she would probably do a terrible job on dishes if I had to guess.
Might
But
do something for about 30 minutes.
but man, it's a Factor. I got that shipment from Factor, and let me tell you, we had some delicious meals, and it was so easy. We saved all kinds of time, and we get to spend more time doing the things that we love to do as a result. Factor is fresh, never frozen. And you want to talk about variety, Jake? They've got 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options. So there's always something new to try. You can enjoy meals for any time of day with breakfast options like egg bites, smoothies, and more. Plus, replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons. I know that takeout is the go-to solution for a lot of people who need to just get a quick meal in during a busy day. Well, not only is Factor cheaper than takeout, but meals are ready faster than restaurant delivery. In just 2 minutes, that's it. Put the time and money you save toward planning activities for when that nice weather comes our way.
I'll
Also,
be taking some of those on the road with me.
no doubt, it makes life so easy. All you've got to do is pack it in a cooler, and bam, you've got a fast meal on your hands. And it's healthier than takeout by a long shot.
Yeah.
Also, eating vegan or veggie is easy with Factor. As I mentioned, each meal is prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, so you know that your Factor meal has all the ingredients you want and nothing you don't. And if you're looking to mix it up, you can add protein to select vegan and veggie meals each week. Get Factor and enjoy clean eating without the hassle. Just choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed food delivered to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/snake50 and use code SNAKE50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code SNAKE50 at factormeals.com/snake50 to get 50% off your first box. And look, at that price, you have to try Factor. Again, it's factormeals.com/snake50 and use code SNAKE50 to save 50%.
Fight Plus is the ultimate digital platform for live sports and entertainment, and they're now offering a free 7-day trial at tryfight.com. Fight Plus is packed with a premium live event schedule, over 1,000 hours of live action every year, and a library of more than 4,000 hours on demand, plus exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Fight is a great partner of ours. They support us, so let's support them. Give that free 7-day trial a shot, and you'll be a member for life. That's tryfight.com. tryfite.com.
All right, Jake, we're back in the action. TL Bones is up next, and he says, "You are known for your mustache. Have you ever thought about, or were you ever asked to shave it off?"
I shaved it one time, and my kids, they cried.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't know who I was. They're like, "You're a daddy." Yeah, come over here.
Gotta keep the mustache. It's part of the
Yeah.
look. You and like Magnum TA kind of iconic. You just look weird without them.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen to anybody. I know a couple of years ago, there was some magazine that wanted to interview my mustache. And I said, well, that's not fair. You can't ask me. You need to ask the girls that wrote it.
What did they say?
Oh, they liked it.
What magazine was this?
I can't remember if it's like Men's Quarterly or Men's something or another. I can't remember.
I'll tell you what, man. When people want to talk to your mustache, you know that you've got an
Oh.
iconic look.
Yeah. They had interviewed Tom Selleck, and they'd interviewed somebody else. It
Burt
was like
Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds. Yeah. It was like the top 5 mustaches of all time.
Holy shit, man! And you were on the list.
Yeah, I was on the list, man. So that made me feel pretty good.
Was Hogan on it?
Fuck no.
You beat out Hogan. How about that?
Your best mustache.
The-
Give me a belt.
Next up, Jake, we've got Peter D. He asks, "Hi, Jake.
Peter
the Bush." Peter D. And yeah, I guess that's a pretty uncool name. Boy, his parents are what a gag. Hi,
What's
Jake.
his middle name, Nick?
Peter Dick D. Sorry, Peter. We're just trashing you.
Oh, it's okay, Peter. We actually mean it. What does Peter Dick do want?
Peter Dick D's got a great question for you, and it's actually pretty topical. The Bushwhackers added an element of comedy to the WWF when they arrived. What did you feel about comedy in your matches? Before you answer that, we did recently lose Bushwhacker Butch. Jake, do you have anything you'd like to say about the passing of Butch?
It broke my heart, man. To know that he was coming out there to see the fans, basically one last time or whatever, and to go down like that, man, it's just horrifying. Now I'm angry at myself because I'd heard he went to the hospital and I didn't go see him. I want to kick myself in the ass over that. But he was a great man, a great talent, and one of the toughest son of a bitches I ever met. He was a rugged, tough son of a bitch. I mean, people giggled and stuff at their matches because that's what Vince wanted them to do. But that's not how they were. They were rugged, they were tough, and they would brawl all night long and not take a break. When they were the sheep herders, I remember Butch breaking his ankle and he just taped it up and went back in the ring.
My God.
That right there tells me you're tougher than I am. Especially an ankle.
Yeah,
So,
that is next level tough.
yeah, both of those guys are lovely men, man, and I'm glad to be able to call them friends.
Man, what a tough loss for not only all of you guys who knew him so well, but the wrestling community at large. It's really awful to lose such an iconic guy, an iconic character. And to your point, I know that they had this kind of silly gimmick in the WWF. They're like licking kids' heads and being silly in the walk and everything. But before they got there, my understanding was that they were kind of like the first hardcore type wrestlers.
Yeah, they were. They were brutal, man. They beat the shit out of you.
Just incredible. Rest in peace to Butch. What a terrible loss. I do want to ask also Jake, though. He brought up the comedy in matches. I know that that certainly it's an element for a lot of people, and a lot of people see a ton of value in it. Did you ever do any comedic stuff in wrestling?
Little stuff, you know. Uh, Maybe where I tripped a guy and he fell flat of his ass or something, and I might, I'd bust out because I didn't see that coming.
Right.
No, I'm not into the comedy in the match, man.
So now, just personally for your character, or do you see value in it for others?
I see value in it in some instances, especially if the guy can't carry a match by doing it the rugged way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to resort to something. So I guess that's an easy get to. They throw a little comedy in there and they get some type of reaction from the fans. But no, all around, I don't agree with it.
Orange Cassidy is really famous for the comedy that he does in AEW. I was wondering, and I'm sure a lot of our fans would like to know, as an old school guy, what's your opinion on his shtick?
I love what he does because he may start out with that, but he gets in there and he goes rugged too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'll play around a little bit, and that's sort of like, to me, he's trying to incite the riot, trying to get the guy to lose his cool and go nuts.
Right.
That's what he does. But he doesn't go to it later in the match when it's tooth and nail time. He can go.
No doubt about it. And yeah, Jake, it's one of the things, it's kind of an underrated part of his character that I don't think a lot of people notice or talk about. But when it comes down to nut cutting time in a match, you can kind of see him flip the switch and become really intense. Yeah.
No doubt, man. And he's solid too, brother. He goes after it, and he can go after it for a long period of time. I know I've watched several of his matches, man, that I was just, really shocked that he was able to go that far with it. But him and Jericho were pretty good matches. Him and anybody's a good match.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that he did with Jericho, I think Jericho really helped to kind of make the character and put it on the map on a national stage. Yeah. Fun stuff. Let's move on to Patriot Pat, who asks, have you noticed similarities between wrestling and doing your one-man show? For example, entrance, set, match, structure, good finisher, etc. Side note, he opened for Jake in 2016 and can say that your one-man show is a must-see.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, to me, it's sort of same as a wrestling match. I go out, start it, play around a little bit, then I get serious. And then there's a time to get honest when I talk about addiction, because I do talk about addiction during my show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very serious. But then I always try to finish it off on a high note. Then after the high note, we break it down and we go into Ask Me Anything.
That's cool, man. And it's one of the unique things about Jake's show. And one of the reasons I strongly recommend that when he's in your area, you come out and see it, is because you kind of get a little bit of everything. It's variety, Yes, there's going to be some serious stuff, but he's also going to, as we said, tell some stories you've never heard before and make you laugh.
You damn right you're going to laugh. You're going to be shaking your head saying, oh my God, those bastards are nuts.
Again, check out Jake, follow Jake's social media, and you'll see updates for what cities he's coming to. Next up, we've got Josh, who asks, what were your impressions of Mick Foley when you were working with him in WCW?
Well, I always thought Mick did too much. He just put his life on the line, and it was foolish. I don't mind a rugged style, but when you intentionally try to hurt yourself, by doing the flips on concrete, that's just ignorance, man. That's desperation. I feel like it's desperation. Maybe that's what he wanted to do. He thought that's going to be his thing. Well, Jesus Christ, man, if you go down that line, how salty can you get? Next thing you know, you're going to have somebody going out there with a pistol and they're going to shoot themselves in the leg. And then, what the fuck, Look at that, folks. He's been shot. I appreciate Mick and I love the guy, but I think he's careless. And even though he'll tell you he's not careless, that he actually figures this stuff out and weighs it out and all that. But look at him walk around now.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think, to your point, Jake, it's he gets thrown off the Hell in a Cell 25 years ago now. And it's like, the thing about wrestling fans is they're always like, okay, what's next? And what is next after that?
Absolutely. I don't know. Drop the cow. You know,
Shoot a cannon at him. There's something
drop
like
a cow on top of him. You know, from the rafters. That might be something. That was utterly fantastic.
God Almighty. Well, so this does make me wonder too, Jake. Would that have been the first time that you were around Mick Foley? Was when you came to WCW?
Yeah.
And you wound up working with him while you were in the WWF a few times. What did you think of actually getting in the ring with Mick?
He was all right. He was all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we had a good time.
Now, his did he show any of that kind of reckless style while you're in the ring
No.
with him, or did you kind of
No.
cool him off?
I cooled him off a little bit, I guess.
It's an awesome performer. Certainly, left his mark. But yeah, I mean, to your point, he's pretty beat up now, and he took some unnecessary risks.
Absolutely, man.
Next up, we've got the Arse, formerly known as Jimmy Blade, and some wild names today. He wants to know, how did you feel about the watering down of the DDT over the years? Were you unhappy, or was it more like, well, mine finishes matches because mine is better?
Exactly.
So you're fine with it.
Go ahead and do it. Keeps it out there, man. You know, that just every time you do it, you're just reminding the people, Jake the Snake Roberts, who invented that? DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts. Yeah. I remember for a while, Vince told the announcers not to call it the DDT anymore.
Why?
Because he didn't want my name brought up.
Oh, so after you left, he was like, didn't want any affiliation.
Right.
That's hilarious.
That didn't work.
Right, because the fans will chant it. Doesn't matter if the announcers say it or not.
Exactly.
Name I can't say. I really can't pronounce that. Says, Jake, what's your favorite brand of potato chips?
Oh wow. I'm not really a potato chip fan, man. I'm into popcorn.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure food overall, Jake? Ice cream?
Popcorn, ice cream.
And how about your brand of ice cream? What do you go for?
Oh, there's 2 or 3 brands out there. I can't remember them. Bluebell. I like Bluebell with what I do is I have to have blueberries with it. So I get vanilla ice cream with blueberries.
That sounds fantastic.
It's great.
Johnny Silto is up next. Johnny says, I'd like to know whether wrestlers had input in entrance music back then and how involved you were. It was the right choice, he says, because it's his alarm tone now is your entrance theme.
No, we didn't have any input into it. We were given that, and that was that.
And right away, did you feel like, okay, this is perfect music for me?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was real good.
Did you ever see that video of Hogan like lifting weights? This is before you were there, and your music is playing in the background for him while he's lifting weights. That was the first time it was used.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty weird. Collins Polk Jr. has a fun one. He says, what can you tell us about working in WCCW as the Texan?
Brutal.
Was that your first time working under a mask?
No, I'd done it once before.
Really?
But, under a mask really sucks, man. You can't breathe. You can't see. It's really hard, and I just don't like it. But anytime you were in the Von Erich territory, if you were wrestling the Von Erichs, you weren't going to have fun. There's going to be, hopefully I survived this, and you let it go at that.
They were, I know that they would, occasionally show up under the influence, but
occasionally?
It's pretty much every time, I guess.
They were reckless, they were dangerous, and they were kids, man. They were kids.
This Texan gimmick that you were doing, though, how long were you doing that?
Just a couple of weeks.
Okay. Did you change anything about your ring style?
No.
Fascinating. There's some pictures of it floating around out there. I'll put it up on social.
Well, I brought it up. I came to WWF with the mask one time.
Did you?
Yeah. With Sid Vicious in the ring.
El Diablo. That's right.
I like the blonde hair sticking out of the back of it.
That was a nice touch. And you were wearing like a karate gi and stuff.
Barefooted.
That was pretty. Whose idea was that?
Mine.
It was awesome. And I think that all the fans were taken by surprise, especially because you did have like the blonde wig sticking out of the back. So they're like, okay, I wonder, this guy's legit. He's just a job guy.
Who is this? They just figured me as another jobber.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. All right, guys, let's do a quick timeout so that we can talk about AG1 by our great friends over there at Athletic Greens. Guys, I've been using AG1 for the better part of a year now, and it has completely transformed my life for the better. I used to be that guy that was getting up every single morning, a million multivitamins, or even worse, I'd be going to the grocery store trying to get all the fruits and veggies so that I can make a healthy shake. Then you got to mix it up. Then you got to clean out the blender afterwards. And it was just taking up so much time to just get me where I needed to be. Well, those days are behind me because with one delicious scoop of AG1, I get 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start my day off on the right foot. These ingredients support gut health, my nervous system, my immune system recovery, focus, and it was always about energy for me, and AG1 has got me covered. In just under a year, I feel like a new man, and it's really become this great part of my daily routine. It used to be I would instantly go for a cup of coffee. Not anymore. Now, I'm mixing up some AG1, and I'm starting my day right. It's easy, it's convenient, and most importantly, it works. And guess what? That's not even the best part. The best part is that it costs less than $3 a day. I spend 3 times that amount whenever I just walk past the Starbucks. And now I'm making a true investment in my health with AG1. I mean, it's no wonder they've got over 7,000 5-star reviews. It's time, guys. Go and reclaim your health. Arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. And let's make it easy. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Get started when you go to athleticgreens.com/snake. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/snake to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Time to stop procrastinating, guys. Make it happen right now when you go to athleticgreens.com/snake.
Hey guys, Tony Schiavone. Need to call a timeout real quick. Wanted to tell your listeners what I've been telling What Happened When listeners for a while now about all the cool things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
Jim Johnston created the soundtrack for generations of WWE fans with some of the most iconic themes in history. Jim sits down with Conrad to take us behind some of those classic themes, including The Ultimate Warrior.
And then I recorded that. And then just over that, you're just doing. It's so simple, but that's what felt like him.
Plus, an all-new edition of The Book is here, as David Crockett takes us page by page, gate by gate, through the JCP booking logs of April 1985.
On Sunday, April 14th, you start the day with a 2 p.m. show in Richmond, Virginia, 43 grand. An hour later, Asheville, North Carolina kicks off, and it's another 63-63. But then that night, you guys all cruise to Atlanta, $31,000 at the gate. Talk about a banner day for Jim Crockett Promotions. This is hard to beat, man.
That's just a small taste of what we got waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from, see for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adfreeshows.com.
David Bolton is up next. He says, can you shoot on the Dynamite Kid and Roujo flare-up backstage?
Well, it was a pretty lousy thing that happened, man. There was some serious heat between the Roujos and the Bulldogs, and Dynamite was the one that's going to take you out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a tough one of the two. So the Roujos did what they had to do. Well, they sucker punched him. He's walking down the hall, and as he comes around the corner, he gets blasted, man, knocks his teeth out.
God almighty.
That was the end of it.
If I remember right, I think that it was Jacques had like a roll of quarters in his hand too.
Yeah.
You could fucking kill somebody doing that shit.
You can certainly try.
Well, yeah, he was as tough as they come. Only like I believe he was like 5'10", something like that, but just a bad dude.
Badass, man. He was about 5'7". He wasn't 5'10".
Oh wow. Now, when you hear about it, were you there for the incident?
was
Like, you saw it happen?
No, I was there about 3 minutes after it happened.
I mean, when you hear about that, do you have words with the Rougeos? Like, hey, what the fuck? Or how does that go?
Yeah, I did, man. I was like, what the fuck was that about, man? They're like, man, they were fucking with us. They were going to do this to us. They threatened us. And we were scared. Oh, I understand that.
Damn, I mean, you know,
And they were, and I'd seen them fuck with them in the ring, you know.
what kind of shit were they doing? Just like taking liberties, being stiff?
Yeah, taking liberties, man. Strong ones too. You know, just picking them up and tossing them through the air. Didn't give them a shit which way they went.
Oh man,
Suplexing the shit out of them. Take them out on the floor. Slam them on the floor.
fuck.
You know, uncalled shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the reaction is certainly way too much. But that being said, you know, the Bulldogs, they did have a reputation for bullying guys.
Yeah, they did.
Couple more and we'll get out of here, Jake. Yeah. Sean Brown asks, any good stories about the exotic Adrian Street?
You know, I love that cat, man. Him and Linda are certainly a part of wrestling history. Unfortunately, I was never around him other than once or twice.
Really?
Yeah. And but I loved what he did. He shot with it, and he held that character proud, man. And let it be known that that guy could be a badass too.
Mm-hmm.
He was an old style shooter, and he could get the work done if he had to.
Yeah, I have heard the same thing about him over and over again from people where it's like, I think he was like 5'6", probably even smaller than Dynamite Kid. Yeah. But man, it's just one of those dudes you do not want to fuck with Adrian.
It would fuck you up.
And to your point, Jake, you know, he's this little guy and he's in this business where it's all huge guys. I would think that a lot of dudes would be coming up like, hey, I'm gonna fuck with this guy.
Yeah, they'll take liberties, and all of a sudden they're tied up in a knot in the middle of the ring and squealing like a little girl.
Shout out to Exotic Adrian Street. What a badass dude. Last question for the week, Jake. Kyle Bowles asks, what were your favorite moments of your Mid-Atlantic wrestling run?
Probably the road trips with Steamboat.
Okay, so early on you would spend some time on the road with him.
I traveled with Ricky and I really enjoyed it. Or some road trips with the Boogeyman.
Oh, Jimmy Valiant.
Yeah, and Johnny Weaver.
Dude,
some really boring ass trips.
Yeah, I can't picture it getting too boring with Boogie Woogie present.
Oh, are you kidding, man? He would lay in the back seat and sleep the whole time.
What?
He never talked. He never fucking talked.
That's a bummer. Like his character and everything. You always feel like, oh man, that guy must have been absolutely wild.
No, man, it's right the opposite.
Just goes to show. Just goes to show you can never tell.
I'll tell you that Boogie, I had just gotten to Charlotte and it was coming up Thanksgiving, and he invited me over to his house for Thanksgiving dinner, man, which was really huge because I was missing home, missing my kids, and he invited me over for dinner, man. And that was really huge for me. I've never forgotten that.
That's awesome, man. It's you know, the wrestling community. I've heard a lot of that kind of stuff where these guys kind of take care of each other in many respects. So it's cool that he was able to help you out. What an icon that guy is too.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Jake, that is going to wrap us up. These Ask Jake episodes are always so much fun, man. I love doing these. We'll have another one in a few weeks. But next week, we're going to resume the story of your rivalry with Rick Rude 35 years ago in 1988. We're talking about when your wife, Cheryl, got involved and Rick Rude tried to kiss her. Man, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that we've got some fun stories ahead with that one, right?
A couple.
A couple,
yeah.
I suspect we'll be able to scrape together an episode there. It's such an iconic storyline, man. I just can't wait to hear more about it. I did want to tell our listeners, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a very strong probability that we're targeting the exact demo you're looking to attract to your product or business, and you will see results from our loyal listeners. We keep reading a lot of the same advertisements over and over again, and there's a very good reason for it, guys. It's because what we do works. Get over to advertisewithjake.com and find out how you can get your message in front of our huge network of listeners. Again, that's advertisewithsnake.com and partner up with this guy, the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts. Check out jakethesnakeshop.com for rare signed collectibles that will be the centerpiece of any wrestling fan's collection. Jake just added those Ultimate Edition figures of himself and Rick Rude, and he's signing them. So, guys, unless you purchase it and find when Jake's going to be in your city and go out to a signing and get him to sign it, this is it. This is your chance to own it. So go out of your way to go over to jakethesnakeshop.com, check that out, and a lot of other awesome rare collectibles that he's got there on the site, and he's signing all of them. Also, get over to Jake's Cameo at cameo.com/JakeSnake. If you want to give someone a unique gift that they will never forget, get Jake to give them a shout out, say hello to them, quit your job, break up with your girlfriend, whatever you want. Cut a promo on you, right, Jake? He can do anything.
Encourage them.
He encourages it. And if you don't believe us on how great these are, just go check out the reviews over at cameo.com/JakeSnake. You're going to find out that, man, anybody who purchases one is always satisfied. Get over to boxofgimmicks.com. As I've mentioned here before, we've got some really cool looking 90s and 80s style merch going on over there. I'm always updating it, always finding new stuff. It's tailor-made for fans of the 80s and 90s, the golden era of wrestling. So go out of your way to check that out. Hit us on YouTube at youtube.com/@SnakePitPods to get some highlights from our shows and exclusive content. We are doing giveaways over there all the time. You can get some free autographed Jake stuff, and all you got to do is go over there and subscribe. Subscribe, hit the notifications bell, hook us up, guys. By the way, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review on all platforms wherever you listen to your podcast, because, man, that helps us out a ton. And just a reminder, you can get the Snake Pit and all of our other shows early and ad-free at adfreeshows.com, starting at just $9 a month. Jake and I, as we are sitting here now, are getting ready to do another bonus episode for April. We're watching back the Wrestling Summit from 1990, and I believe it's Jake's first time in the Egg Dome, right, Jake?
It was my first time in the Egg Dome. It's also my first time in the ring with the
Big Boss Man.
Yeah, absolutely, Big Boss Man.
That is going to be must hear. I don't remember hearing Jake ever talk about it in any public forum anywhere, and we're going to try it coming up next here. That's our next bonus episode for Ad Free Shows. So get over there and check it out. Again, it's adfreeshows.com. Sign up today. Catch Jake on Twitter at JakeSnakeDDT, on Instagram at Jake the Snake DDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. Follow me at Marcus P. D'Angelo on Twitter, and you can follow the podcast on all platforms at Snake Pit Pod. Jake, another one in the books. Appreciate your time today, my friend, and I'm excited to do another one of these sometime real soon.
Absolutely, always a pleasure with you, bro.
Thanks, man. We'll catch you guys next time right here on the Snake Pit.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Tax season is here, which means you've received or are expecting that tax refund any day now, and you're thinking about what to spend it on. How about a new home? With SaveWithConrad.com, we're helping renters become homeowners every single day, and it's more affordable than you think. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need a huge down payment. In fact, you may not need a down payment at all. At SaveWithConrad.com, we take the stress out of the home buying process. We'll determine your buying power. We'll even help you find a realtor. And unlike the banks, we don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. So if you're not ready right now, we'll get you on a plan to be ready. Stop throwing your money away, paying someone else's mortgage with your rent, and start the path towards owning your own home today at SaveWithConrad.com.